Hey, BattleBay, this is Porthos, and I have a treat for you today. 3 videos from Oato WDK, one of the very coolest defenders on the Bay. He is going to be teaching us just how to play a defender. Defenders are the big fatties of the Bay. They have tons of hit points, but they are slow and very hard to get into position. If they get out of position or abandoned, man, it's curtains for them because they're just going to get ganged up on, and they're too fat and too slow to really do any damage. You see here, Oato is quite far away. It takes him a while to get into position, but man, when he does, he can do some serious damage. He's got 11,000 hit points to play with. So when he's coming at you, chasing you down, that's a monster that's trying to eat you. And with his weapons, he can do some serious damage. His flare gun lights you on fire, and then his 2 exploding cannons hit you for incredible amounts of bonus damage. It's a killer combo, and one I hate to be on the receiving end of. Look at that exploding cannon damage on those 2. One shot, 1,300 damage on each of them. How is that for bang for your dollar? So Oato is very careful about picking his targets. You'll notice he chooses a target, then locks onto it. So here he's picked this Thai name guy here, locked his reticle onto them, and he is going to be taking him down. The guy is burning, and look at that. Captain Perry made the mistake of getting too close to that exploding cannon. They both went down in a single shot. In Battle Bay, the defender is really the bully of the Bay. Like the big kid on the playground, he's just slow and bigger than the rest of us because he didn't pass his grades early on, and he uses that size and strength to his advantage. So there he goes, just dropping in shots, taking hits from other guys. He doesn't even care. He's already lost 6,000 damage, but he doesn't care because he's got 5,600 more to go. So Black Lotus sunk wrong username here, but Oato is not having it. He's very slowly making his way over, calling the kill, telling his team, hey, let's team up, let's focus on a guy, and let's hit them hard. And just like that, Black Lotus is put down. So there you see the power of a defender. He is really good at focusing on his targets and then taking them out. Alright, let's watch another fight here where Oato uses his heavyweight to his advantage and is really good at just focusing on a target and taking them down. The problem with a defender, you have to work well with your team. You have to be aware of where your team is, and your team has to work with you too, because if they abandon you, it's not like you can just sail away and get back to them quickly. If you find yourself alone, left out in the cold by your team, well, you're going to be in quite a pickle. You'll be a pickled defender. So Oato is sailing in, as usual, in the back of the pack because it takes him a while to get into position. But he's going to select his target there. He's selected it, trying to lock on to one of them. It looks like he's trying to find his target. I think he's trying to find Bergster here. Lock his target on and do some damage. He has caught his target. He is putting some pain down on them and just sailing right into the middle of them. The other boats can't do this. Don't do this if you aren't a defender or you don't have a ton of hit points or stones that are seriously large, because you need to be able to survive a ton of hits because they're going to open up all their cannons on you, and during that cooldown period you're going to be able to do some damage. It's all about knowing when to charge in and when to stay back and wait for your team, because if you pick the right moment to do your charge, you can create a window of confusion and panic on the unfriended team that the rest of your team can capitalize on. So he's just being a big bully here, knocking them down, sinking them, and hitting them. They don't really stand a chance. They can't do damage to him fast enough because his team and him are working together, pushing his weight around, and benefiting from the confusion that results. Bergster has gone down, just this one shooter is left, and Oato is laying down the pain. There he goes. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the defender bite. Oato takes him down with style. Alright, let's check out this third battle we've got from Oato, and here he is paired up with Wrong Username. Wrong Username is a really fast speeder, and I find that it's best to pair with a speeder if you are a defender, because the speeder is able to run circles around the enemies, run interference for you, mess up their targeting, while you just sit there and hit them and hit them and hit them. It's a fantastic pairing. Much better, I find, than two defenders paired up together, or a defender and a shooter. The thing about defender you'll notice is it's not really complicated to play either. It's kind of just point and shoot. Whereas with a speeder, you got to run around them, run your shield up, then stun them, and then hit them at just the right moment while zooming away before they can hit you. A well-piloted speeder, as of right now, is a better boat to play in Battle Bay, but it's a whole lot harder. A defender is almost zen-like in comparison with just 3 buttons and 1 strategy. Get in their face and hit them hard. Now, a defender is not a long-range boat. Its job is not to sit in the back and do damage from a long ways away. That's a shooter's job. A defender is an in-your-face boat. It gets up close, it causes panic in the enemy, it causes confusion, and during that time it makes a window for your team to attack, while the defender's HP is still high and making everybody afraid. Oato is very good at doing this. He gets in the middle and he charges in and he does serious damage, and as long as his team backs him up, he's going to come out the other side victorious. But here's a really cool thing. He likes to go on his own once in a while. This is exactly what I told you not to do, but here he's doing it to show that, hey, Porthos doesn't know everything. 2 shooters. They were at full health moments ago. Oato has taken them down, but there's his backup. St. Elmo's Fire backs him up with some hits, is able to cause some damage while everybody's focusing on him. Alright, that was a really good team. They saw where Oat was going and they sent him some backup. So what do we got? We got 2 guys left. Wrong username has sunk, but Black Lotus is still alive, as is Chibi. So how's it going to go down? Here he's making his run very carefully, choosing which direction to go at them. He knows that which way he goes, he's going to be committed to it, because it's not like you can just turn around in a defender very quickly. He's checking on Black Lotus, laying... Oh, he landed a nice shot on him. The thing about this setup with the flare gun and the exploding cannon is you really have a hard time hitting targets. You have to know how to lead your targets just right, because they hit like comets, but man, they are really slow projectiles. You can't just shoot at your opponent, you have to shoot ahead of them. And that takes a considerable amount of skill, so while it's not terribly complicated to play this particular setup, it is not necessarily easy either. So only Black Lotus is left. So here we got Oato circling around. He's not going to be able to chase him very well because Black Lotus is in a speeder and Oat is in a slow defender. But hopefully, between the 3 of them, they can corral Black Lotus and do some damage. All the while, thanks to that bandage that I'm very jealous of, Oato is healing up and now has almost 3 times the health that Black Lotus has. But thankfully, Black Lotus made himself a target, did not run around, and is going down pretty quickly here. It looks like he's a burning target, and Oato leads his shot just right, knocks him right on the nose, and Black Lotus is snooked. 3 stars for that fight. Oat truly did a good job there, eliminating all the targets in just the right way. So let's go on now to our last fight. Now, we're going to mix it up. I want to show you how you beat a defender, and I'm going to do it with a defender. So this time wrong username is with me, and I am fighting against Oato and BDZ Iran, the grenade-using crazy little speeder. But the thing about a defender, they come at you and they do a charge. If you can separate them from their team, well, they're just going to be really up a creek without a paddle. So that's the trick to fighting when you're a defender, and the thing to really watch out for not happening to you. You got to make sure your team sticks with you, and if they decide to retreat, you got to be aware of it, because otherwise you're going to have some trouble. So here we got Oato over here. I'm dropping some napalm there to keep those 2 away from him, and hopefully we can separate Oato a little further here. So right now Oat has 3 people with him, but looks like BDZ is separating, abandoning his post because he's not very good at any sort of range, but up close he can be quite deadly. Now it's just Bad Wolf and Oat together. Wrong username is taking him from one side, and I will be taking him from the other. The 2 of us can sandwich them, and hopefully, now that the team has literally abandoned this poor little defender, we can take him out. So we're heading in there. Wrong username did his job. Stunned Oato and took out Bad Wolf, eliminating the amount of guns on the field as quickly as possible. Now Oato has to face 2 targets at once. His team has abandoned him. His little speeder friend BD Zyran did not want to help and ran away. So now he is stuck. He can't turn his boat fast enough. He can't target fast enough. And he is trying to hit Wrong Username as Wrong Username runs circles around him. And the rest of us sink him quickly. Here comes BD Zyran, late to the party. It's a little bit too late for him, but up close he is still a terrifying person to deal with because he's quick. Look at that, with his little nitro. I put a rudder on my boat instead of a bandage and a small shield. Mostly because I don't have a bandage or a small shield, but also because I really like the maneuverability it gives me. A defender is slow and hard to turn, so I'm trying to combat that a little bit with a nice big rudder, and it works pretty well for me. It's really cool when you get a defender that has a ton of bandages on it. It can heal up something like 800 damage every 5 seconds, and it's a terrifying thing to see. But here, one guy left, and the battle is over. We did a good job separating that team up and picking them off one by one. So there you go, 4 fights with a defender. Hopefully you got some good tips. Thanks for watching Battle Bay with Porthos.